There's a lot of anecdotal advice around on improving your marriage. But if you want something you can really use that will actually make a difference and reignite your marriage, check out the link in the description below.
The question, do fights occur frequently between spouses just after marriage? Answer by Gene Spellman. It's very common, but it is a destructive behavior that should be discussed and stopped. When we were still in the dating phase, we agreed that we would never fight. We kept that rule carefully for over 30 years now. It is the best decision we ever made for our long-term happiness. Beginners in relationship skills often test their partner with bad behavior to see whether their partner will still love them. I did that as a young woman and learned the hard way that once a pattern of fighting is established, it is very difficult to change. I had to end the relationship because I was so emotionally battered from the constant bickering. I vowed never to do that in a relationship again. I'm very grateful that I learned this before I was married. I have seen friends deteriorate into fighting after marriage when the reality of the commitment sets in. Emo, it is related to buyer's remorse, where characteristics of the partner that used to be overlooked now gain in perceived importance and become unacceptable. It seems to be a very common behavior. I didn't live with my husband full-time for the first month after the wedding. I was freaked out by the enormity of my decision once the romance wore off and the busyness of the wedding receded. I kept retreating to my apartment in another state for a few days whenever I've made a huge mistake feelings came up. He wisely gave me my space, and I gradually settled with the decision. I don't think that was the best way to deal with it, but at the time I had a pattern of running away from my problems. At least, we kept our agreement of no fighting. I gave up my apartment after a few weeks. We have been happily married for over 31 years at this writing. The biggest factor in our success has been learning to negotiate our differences without fighting. Take it off the table as an option and stick to it. Answer by Katarina Barriger. The first year or so is the settling in period. That period is an important one, because relationship roles are often defined during that time. There will be highs and lows as you navigate through this period and get to know each other as legally married. I will caution you though, that if the fights are in any way verbally, emotionally or physically abusive, you need make some significant changes. Arguing can be very good for a relationship, partly because you are each honoring your needs and values and making an effort to honor the other person's opinion without losing yourself in the process. Try using I feel messages with your spouse. Compliment them when they do something that honors the relationship and set healthy boundaries with natural consequences when they don't. If the fights are escalating, go to a shelter, talk to a professional and get out. Blessings, Katarina Barriger. Answer by Carrie Patel. Always listen to your instinct. Ignore all academic discussion, others' opinions. Think this easy way. If your stress level or unconscious anxiety goes up, it is time to leave. Don't get bogged down by any dogma, love or any other emotional manipulation words.